When I built the green course, it was a different era than when my dad built the golf course, and we really had to be very careful over archaeological studies. We had to just examine all the plant materials we had on the site. We had to make sure that we skirted the wetlands and incorporated them into the design, which really my father didn't have those features, characteristics to worry about. And we had more land on my course, and Dad had less land. And I think at the time that Dad built it, the foundation really wanted to take down a few trees because they wanted to keep the natural nature aspect of it. And I was able to take down a few more, make mine a little bit wider. But as I've told everybody that wants to go to the Golden Horseshoe in Colonial Williamsburg, you really don't see a house. It's really, you're in a virgin forest. I mean, in both courses feel that way, and you really are away from the world, and it's a golfing experience, truly. It really, you know you're communing with nature and you're walking down paths of nature, and really then you get to the historical aspect, because there's a lot of historical aspects to that land too. So it's just a wonderful place to be and a wonderful place to play. The Golden Horseshoe golf course was one of my father's favorites. He did all the work for the Rockefeller family, Lawrence Rockefeller in particular, and David Rockefeller was very much involved with Golden Horseshoe. And my mom and dad used to come down there because it's such a special place to play and to reside and to enjoy the historical aspects of it. And the dining is fabulous, and the rooms are great. And Rudy Bears, when he wanted my father there, was always call my mother and say, "Why don't you two come down?" And so my mom said, "We're going." And then he made a lot of trips to Golden Horseshoe. Well, Dad was always ahead of himself. Even back when he was designing his courses for the national championship, he worried about length and how the equipment was improving. I mean, he's been going for 13 years now, and I've had to upgrade and lengthen some golf courses because the equipment had changed. So he was ahead of himself, and he was worried about that even back in the 50s and 60s when he did championship golf courses. So I think I just learned from him, and I saw that the ball was going farther, and then I had to relocate the hazards as he did. And so I think it's just a culmination of all the learning I did with him, but also his philosophy really kind of was going forward until today, where we think we have a line in the sand as far as the distance off the club, but no one ever knows. My father was my mentor, and I've reworked a lot of his golf courses. When I did Congressional over for the U.S. Open in 1997, he visited the Open, and he told me I did a good job, and that was very important to me, as he did at Golden Horseshoe Green. I mean, he was very impressed how we routed the holes and fit the land, because we had to weave our holes a little bit more than he did, because he had a smaller site, but he had pretty much all upland to work with. And I think it's very enjoyable to work on my father's golf courses like the Atlanta Athletic Club, Duke University, Hazeltine, and I think I've always kind of lived by his design style, and that's why I've done so many of them. The most important aspect of golf course design is how it plays on a continuing basis. And both my dad and myself want to build golf courses where they would want to play it over and over again. And if they were resort players, come back the next year. I think that's how they were designed. The artistic aspect, obviously, is we're really embellishing the ground we work on and making it into a active space to play on. And I think the greens and the bunkers and the water, and my dad built that fabulous drop shot island green par 3 that has been talked about around the world for 50 years, and that is true art, but also really is quite a shot, and there's really no strategy on it. It's a do or die, but you can't hit short because you can go in the bunker. But I just think there is a combination of art and science, and I think the reason we redid the golf course here in 1998 is because the science technology changed, and we were able to upgrade my father's design technologically with the turf, with the drainage, with all the aspects that he didn't have the ability to put in when he did originally. I think Golden Horseshoe and Colonial Williamsburg did the best interview process of any I've ever been through. They had 4 architects. They named us, and then we came and interviewed, and then they went to one of our golf courses that we selected, and so I took them to 2. And I took them to Hague Point, I took them to Pinehurst number 7, and we got to know each other. We got to know Del Snyder, we got to know the construction head, and we got to know the superintendent, and we developed a rapport, and I was selected by the foundation to design their second golf course. Well, that was the first side-by-side father-son design that I had ever done. I'd done a lot of my father's courses, but we'd never done a side-by-side. And then I think what happened to me is that the Virginia State Golf Association had their championship at Golden Horseshoe, and they invited my father and myself there, and I went around his course with him and complimented him, and he went around my course with me and complimented me, and there's a picture on the wall in the clubhouse, as you see, when we were both there, and it was just a very special occasion for both of us. I got to be very friendly with Dick Schreiber when I was down here, and with John Hallowell, just both great people. And my dad and I both knew that we were working at a place that was very special. It was a place where people wanted to travel, and this was another element of the great facility at Colonial Williamsburg, to have 2 top-rated golf courses. And I think I've continued that trend, and we've gone, when we did the green course, then they asked me to come in and upgrade my father's course and really use the better technology we have today in green construction, irrigation, drainage, grading. So I just think the relationship has been phenomenal. I think the Colonial Williamsburg is one of the greatest places to visit because there's so much to do other than the golf, and the dining is fabulous, and the variety you have in the lodging and the inn is really unparalleled. My job almost 25 years ago here at Colonial Williamsburg was to build a complementary golf course to my dad's. We didn't want it to be the same. We wanted it to be a little bit longer than Dad's, but in many respects easier from the forward tees, more multiple tees. We had a rugged piece of ground in some places, like my dad had at the Gold Course, but we really wanted to be distinctive. We wanted the green course to bring in some of the average golfers, and the Gold Course to have average golfers that also be able to have a tournament like the NCAA Championship. So there are a little bit different styles. We had more ravines to work with than Dad did, because he left me with that land, because he took all the easy land to build on. But in essence, you have 2 complementary golf courses that are distinctively different. I think my father, Robert Trent Jones, was one of the best at designing greens. And I think I've learned that from him about green contouring, how to preserve par as a standard of excellence within the green, not make it overly difficult to get to the green, but you have to get to the right part of the green. And I think that's what I learned from him for all my designs, and I think that's what we lived with here at Golden Horseshoe Gold, because we kept the green contours and the transitions, we just softened them a bit, like we've done for a lot of US Open golf courses. When we did the renovation here on my dad's course back in 1998, we really were true to his original design style. The routing was spectacular, but we sort of finished what Dad began. We built the bunkers over, we built the greens over. We took a lot of the severe contour out of the greens, because the green speeds are much faster in today's play than they were when he built it. And we regraded a lot of the fairways, so we really finished what my dad started. So we really basically lived by his original design. I think that's why I've redesigned so many of his golf courses over the years. Well, Golden Horseshoe Gold is probably one of the best courses in Virginia, if not the whole South. It's always been regarded that. It stood the test of time. It had the NCAA championship here a couple years ago. It had the women's public links. The Yanni Seng beat Michelle Week in the finals. But that was on my course, the green course. But it's had a good golf history, and it's just Golden Horseshoe Gold is because it's not length that matters, just the way it fits the land. And Dad built like one of the longer par fives in history when he built the 15th hole, and it's believed that he built the first island green on the 16th, which really made it a very spectacular finish.